I'm Eddie Barnes. I play Aleth.
My name is Nicholas. I also play Aleth.
I've been playing D&D for about 30 years. I picked it up in like the 4th grade.
The first game of D&D I ever attempted to play, I discovered my father's... My dad had the 3-booklet set, the original Gygax that the Monsters of Treasure.
Like the red box?
No, I think even before that, pre-red box.
Nice.
Like that OG D&D
Yeah.
stuff. And he had a bunch of the hand-painted pewter miniatures at my grandfather's house. And so, you know, I saw the wizard and the cleric sitting there with the shield and the mace and the staff. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm a nerd. These are really interesting, you know? And my grandfather still had the figures, but my dad had the books. And my dad gave me the books and has regretted it ever since. My first real game of D&D was probably in 8th or 9th grade with 3-5.
I don't do a whole lot of podcasts. I'm a big fan of Nerd Poker, which is Brian Posehn's like comedian friends all playing D&D. It's pretty amazing.
I read a lot of fantasy novels and I play a lot of fantasy video games. I don't do a whole lot of podcasts. And then, you know, of course, I play D&D whenever I can find a group of friends that can get together for more than 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. It's hard as grown-ups.
Right? I do both.
I don't super. I used to do when I was younger and in better shape. Not much better shape, but somewhat better shape. I used to do the foam fighting stuff, but I haven't done that in a long time. Cons I go to tend to be tabletop gaming related, so like miniature game stuff, not so much something I mean, some people dress up for that stuff, but
that's how you know they're really nerdy.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, it's like for me, I would love to do stuff like that, honestly, but like money I'm spending on a costume is money I'm not spending on miniatures, and that's hard for me to do. So,
actually, recently got back from Anime Weekend Atlanta, and I didn't have any other costumes ready, so I was gonna not wear, you know, I was just gonna wear t-shirt and jeans and just be comfy all con. Then I happened to look over at my desk and see Aleth's chest armor hanging off the back of my chair. And so I did the first little bit of street press for Masters of the Box.
I didn't know what to expect, of course, when I showed up for the audition. Especially it's kind of walking into this like law office kind of place. I was like, what is happening? And the door made this like kind of clicking sound when it was open, and we were all pretty sure, like we were a few of us in the lobby, we're all pretty sure that it was a trap and we were all gonna die. That did not happen, fortunately. And so yeah, I've gone into this just kind of thinking like, well, I'm gonna just do what I can and have fun and see what happens. And I think going into it with that attitude has made it just kind of a really fun ride. I could see it being a really stressful thing if I were like, oh man, it's not like, I don't audition for things. So I was just kind of like, okay, sure. Well, let's see what happens. And I met some cool people and played some D&D, and here we are. So walking into Studio 615 for the gameplay shoot, that was first thing I couldn't believe how big the room was. Like it just seemed unnecessarily large, but I don't know anything about this sort of thing, so it apparently was fine. But it that felt very real. At first it was like, oh, this is kind of this little thing and like just some people with cameras, like whatever. And I walk in and there's a bunch of cameras and there's like an audio guy taping stuff to me, and like that made it feel really real, and I was a little blown away by all that.
Everything that I've done has been on stage in theater. So it's walking into the shoot the first day. I'd never met any of my co-stars before. I'd never, that was my first time meeting Cody and Lindsay and everybody else. And, and seeing all the equipment and seeing everything set up, and here's, all of the rails. I was impressed. I honestly didn't know what to expect for the production value of a tiny D&D web series filmed by a bunch of nerds with no budget. I know what I've seen my friends try to do that similar thing in the past, what that has looked like, and it was not that.
Yeah.
It wasn't, tungsten lights that you could lean in over the candle like you're paying attention to what the old guy's, quest giver NPC is saying, and then lean back and have there be a 10-degree temperature difference between here and here. But I was fairly well blown away. Like it started, it all starts the same. You get into costume and you get your makeup done, and then the similarities between theater and film end there.
I attended one of the shoots for like half a day, and then I had to go move some furniture. That was really interesting. Every time I see a clip, that Sergio's put together, or whatever, like, I'm always amazed. I'm like, I was standing there, and I remember what it looked like at the time, and now I'm seeing it on film, and it looks like a totally different, very professional kind of thing.
Like we know what we're doing.
Right? I really, like, it's amazing. But no, yeah, I wasn't there for a whole lot of it. It was a lot of, for me, it was a lot of like, all right, walk back and forth across this one shot while other people are talking, and try not to bump into anything, or, it gave me sort of a new appreciation for what these guys are doing. Because I did my thing, and it's like, cool, we shot for one day, and then we're good, basically. And these guys are working really hard, and being at that shoot really gave me an appreciation for that. Without giving too much away, Aleth is sort of... He kind of put the party together in a way.
So he is the leader.
Kind of. He certainly sees himself that way.
But he's noticing a trend.
But he sees himself like, he recognizes that he doesn't have any actual authority to tell these people what to do. He can only kind of point them in the right direction and hope they do the right thing.
Point firmly.
Sure. Sometimes you have to point firmly. But so he kind of has his own reasons for putting the group together initially. They have a lot to do with his backstory and stuff that I think is probably going to become kind of important plot points later, so I don't want to give a whole lot away.
Catty Elf Prince.
Fair. That's fair. Well-intentioned. That's hyphenated, so that's one word. Enthusiastic. And maybe a little naive.
Yeah, you and I definitely have very different mental pictures of this character.
Yeah, so of course, I have all this stuff, like background-wise in my head that I'm like, okay, this is kind of where he's coming from. But then, in the course of the adventure, only so much of that can come out. So. Oh, I think it's definitely Aoife.
I'm thinking Jin, just because, and maybe I'm confusing that with the actor, just because of some of the antics that he and I have gotten to, on set with our characters. But
okay.
But that said, I've kind of been playing it as, he's protective of Aoife for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But of the group, Jin is the one that he's just kind of like, yes, I agree,
Early on in the story, especially, I think Jin and Aleth sort of click the most as far as like just being on the same page and thinking along the same lines and that sort of thing.
No one else is even in the same chapter of the book.
Right. And I, so I definitely, I feel like that's probably the case early on.
The sword, it's actually kind of a fun point, because I remember asking you at the party, what kind of sword does Aleth have? Because when I came here and auditioned, they had me swing the sword around. I was swinging it, like a two-handed sword, like a katana, because it's got that nice long handle. And then, but he's got a rapier listed on his character
officially,
sheet, right?
Yes. Like rules-wise, officially, it is a rapier. And I honestly don't even remember if he even used it. I like to think that this thing, this physical, this prop here, really sort of strikes a nice balance.
Yeah.
Between, it's like it's got like the big swept hilt and it's thin, so it's got kind of a.
I mean, I definitely
you could see it as a like an elvish sort of thing that on paper maybe as a rapier, but like in terms of like fighting style or whatever is more like this. So no, I think Forged Foam did just a fantastic job with this.
If I'd known we were going to show off the weapons, I would have actually brought my bow. Because the bow that we're currently using is... it's something of an inherited piece. I got it... My grandfather... I got it from my grandfather, and then shortly after he said, yes, you can use this for filming, he was real sick at the time, and he actually passed away, I think later that week.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's a real nice bow. I'm fairly certain it's older than I am. It's a real nice long bow. The finish on the wood is really nice. I think he may have actually had a hand in finishing it himself, although
nice.
I'm not sure. But that's the kind of stuff that he would do, is he would refurbish and refinish.
Yeah.
He would dabble in all sorts of constructive, creative endeavors. I have several wooden swords for several of my cosplay costumes that he helped me make.
That's cool.
So the bow that Aleth uses in the show is actually an incredibly sentimental, personal piece for me.
That's awesome.